I think you learn a lot about yourself in a marathon training block. It highlights certain aspects of your personality which you knew were there, but I think also you learn some new things, and because there's a lot to deal with. Like, it is hard. It's hard. I mean, but obviously from a physical point of view, you're pushing yourself to the absolute limits. But also emotionally, it's actually quite hard. And I don't, we choose this. No one's forcing me to do this. So it's really fun and I'm enjoying it and not whinging in any way. But I guess just acknowledging for myself, really, that it's hard and it's okay that I found it a bit tough the last couple of weeks. And nothing's really gone wrong. Like, the training's actually gone really well. I've done all of the sessions I had planned, and they all went really well. Very happy with the performance and how I pulled up afterwards and everything. But there have just been a couple of things, really small things that have gone wrong, which have highlighted aspects of my personality, which I knew were there, but I guess I've just been a little bit disappointed to learn, not how extreme that response is, but to learn what an extent those things are still there. And there really are tiny things. So one of the things that triggered me this week, and again, even as I think about saying it, it is just ridiculous. I didn't quite hit my target with the amount of body fat I wanted to lose. In fact, I've gained some, which, so what? But in my mind, that this was really disappointing. But more than that, I think what I've learned is my response to not hitting that target has been really disappointing, in that I've been incredibly, incredibly harsh on myself. Like, the inner dialogue I've been having in my mind has been really unkind, actually. And I would never, ever even think about speaking to another person in the way that I've been kind of talking to myself. And, it's so disappointing because I know it's wrong. It's wrong. And it's completely uncalled for. And it's over such a stupid, insignificant thing, gaining 0.2% body fat. Whoop-de-doo, who cares? And I think one of the reasons why it has become a big thing in my mind is, as we come to the business end of this marathon block and race day approaches, I'm 6 weeks out today. The margins are really tight. It's touch and go whether or not I can do this sub 3 thing. And I think if I'm to stand any hope, I've got to drop my weight. But it's really hard to do that because I need to fuel for the training, obviously. So the goal is always performance. And, admittedly, so just to backtrack, some of the weight I've gained has been muscle, which is awesome. But those body fat levels, and I'm trim. For a 40-year-old guy, I'm pretty trim. But I need to be more trim. Because in endurance running, weight is huge. For every kilo that I lose, I'm going to be about 2 minutes faster over the marathon, which is a lot. I mean, that's just free speed, free time. And of course, conversely, for every kilo I gain, I'm going to be 2 minutes slower. And even with this goal, I'm so aware, I think I probably even said at the start, this goal is completely arbitrary. It's not based on anything. I didn't look at my training and think this is a realistic goal. It was just a nice round number. Going sub 3, how cool would that be? I've done absolutely everything I can to get there, but the number itself is completely meaningless. And if I go under 3 hours, or I don't go under 3 hours, nothing in my life is going to change. Absolutely nothing. Nobody in my life gives a flying Big Mac about if I go under 3 hours or not. Like, literally, no one cares. This is entirely in my mind. And so I know that I know that on one level, but to actually believe that and to have that inform the way I think and the way I behave is another thing. And I think I've been going after this goal so hard, which you have to do. I've really been enjoying that. But yeah, as I said, I've been really disappointed at the incredibly harsh response to myself at gaining 0.2% body fat. I can't even keep a straight face as I say. Like, what a child. So it got me thinking about this incredibly critical, harsh inner voice. And I mean, who knows how that's there and why it's so bad. I don't think for 1 minute, actually. And I know, like, my parents weren't like that towards me. They weren't overly critical. So it couldn't have come from there. I wasn't traumatized by any teachers at school. And the only thing I can really think of is growing up, I guess being not groomed, but pursuing a goal of being a professional classical musician. That world is very hypercritical. So I guess from a young age, but I mean, yes, I've been playing guitar for a long time, but when I was younger, I'm quite isolated living in Perth, WA. Didn't go to a school that even offered any music. So it was only quite later that I entered music institutions where a lot of the culture is really unhealthy. But I guess in order to get to at least something approaching a professional level, you have to be very critical, because you have to look at all the small things and improve them in order to get somewhere. So from that point of view, I've been doing that, since I was 9 years old. And then, of course, going to music college, a very intense environment. And it just gets ingrained in you, just this constant criticism, and criticism on the tiniest things. Like, if you go to like a really good classical music college. So I went to the Royal Northern in Manchester. The guitar teacher there was kind of why I went. He's great. So if you go to one of these colleges and you listen to anyone play, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, that is amazing. Like, how do you do that? That is incredible. The dedication, like, thank you. That is amazing. Right? And that's a normal person's response. And I think that's probably the correct response. But when you're there, you would never, ever hear that from anybody in the institute. Not a teacher, not a friend, a colleague, nobody. All you hear is what's wrong. Because, these places, they're designed to make you better. The teacher's jobs is to make you better. But it's like picking up on the craziest, tiniest things and making huge things out of it. So nothing's ever good enough. And so I just wonder if that, if part of my mind and my outlook has been shaped by that kind of experience, where it was very intense during music college when I studied, but also it's been there all along, just criticizing as you have to constantly get better. So that's something, and I've really been thinking and praying about that, because it's wrong. It's not right. Why do I expect to be perfect? Why do I have this unachievable standard on myself? There's just no reason for it. So anyway, I've been kind of dealing with that the last couple of weeks. And again, not wanting to make a big thing out of it. I'm just wanting to be honest and just haven't planned what I'm going to say right now, as you can probably tell, just chatting away. So it has been a tough couple of weeks. So there's been and also, so as a consequence of, so one of the reasons I've gained, 0.2% body fat is I've just had more kind of slip up days than I should have done. So my diet during the week is very clean, very controlled. It's excellent. But last week, I think I had 3 days where I lost the plot. The week before that, I had 1 or 2. And also as a consequence of that, my workouts the next day have suffered not in performance actually, but just, I think I mentioned a couple of videos, I've got Crohn's disease as well. So for me, this isn't, the issue goes beyond a bit just gaining body fat. It's actually to do with well-being and, how I am inside. And so the like intense workout on the Monday went fine after, I lost control on Sunday with the desserts and things. But then my long runs, both weeks, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded. So both weeks for my long runs was really affected by not being so disciplined the day before. And on one aspect, I'm really happy that I was able to push through that, because I've never experienced such, I guess, GI discomfort in a run before. It was actually really hard. I was in a lot of pain, and over the sections where I'm running quite quickly, so I did a marathon pace segment and then a faster than marathon pace segment. It was really hard to keep going through that. So I did, which was really good. But again, I was just, I think, beating myself up again, like that whole run, just really being horrible to myself, because I knew that I was the one to blame for how I was feeling then. because of the poor decisions I made the day before. Not only had I gained weight, but now I'm feeling like this. And again, these are tiny things. Let's get some perspective, but that's what it's been like the past couple of weeks. And I think I've kind of felt like I'm slowly seeing that goal slip out of reach. If that's true, who cares? It was an arbitrary number I picked anyway. And I'm achieving all of the things that I wanted to achieve anyway. I'm much fitter. I'm faster. My body composition has improved. I am lean. I'm more muscular. I'm really healthy. Everything's been great. I've done everything, almost everything, the food thing aside, almost everything I can to achieve this sub 3 hour goal. So I really need to find a way of releasing myself in that, I think, and not feeling so much pressure, because this is entirely made up in my mind. Entirely. And it's, like I say, it's based on nothing. It's not based on me looking at my training data and saying, I think this is a realistic goal. It was a few months ago thinking that'd be a fun goal to go for. So I need to kind of, yes, keep chasing it, but I also need to let it go. And all this stuff that happens during the week, I'm not a professional athlete. Like, come on, James, settle down. I need to chill out. Chill out. And just enjoy the training. So this next couple of weeks, I'm going to concentrate on enjoying it, because I love that sense of freedom you get when running. I love so much about running. So the goals for the coming week are to really rediscover that joy of running, to try and find ways of not being so unkind to myself and so hypercritical, and just to let go of that goal a bit. Like, yes, it's going to be there. It's going to continue to motivate me to keep pushing. But I've got to keep it, within context, and I've got to keep a good perspective on things. So hoping for a more relaxed and free Jimmy next time I upload. But the training is going well. I've got one more heavy week before my next deload week. So looking forward to that. I hope some of that was helpful, but I just wanted to share, have an honest chat, because it's important we share these things, I think. There are a lot of ups and downs in a marathon training block. It is hard, and there's lots of things compounding. It's the physical tiredness, the emotional tiredness, working full time, trying to keep the family going as well. It is a lot. And I'm not whinging. I've chosen it. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I'll see you next week.